You are now watching Zaclasage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be covering over Altaria Control. Now this is a deck that's been seeing a lot of top placements lately, and I want to make sure that everyone's prepared for the Players Cup 4 and any of the online events coming up. I know Chilling Reigns is like right around the corner, so I'll be covering that content really soon on the channel. I have a whole bunch of plans for the channel, so don't be afraid about that. I got you covered, or at least I hope so. We'll see exactly how everything goes on. With that being said, you can check out the deck list in the description below. You can check out all the links to my sponsors. You can check out a lot of cool stuff there. I really appreciate everyone who's been watching and supporting the channel lately. Give this video a like to help boost the algorithm. It helps other players and Pokemon fans figure out what's going on about this channel. And subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. I mean, we just passed 4.1k subs. We are so close to the 5,000 goal. The channel hasn't been live for a year yet, so we're trying to get that 5k in the first year. Come on, let's get it. All right, let's jump into the deck list and see what's poppin'. So looking at this list, you might be like, Zach, you gave me a brick of cards that just probably won't go well together. And I mean, the answer somewhat looks like that, but this deck has kind of varying win cons. I'll put it like that. So the main goal of a deck like this in general, and I say like this because we're going to see some variants that play Persian, we're going to see some versions that play Excadrill. We did cover Excadrill on the channel, so to put this in a control kind of mask or like kind of umbrella, lists like this are going to look very similar. And the main goal here is to stop your opponent from doing everything, period. Like, just look at it like that. Stop your opponent from doing attacks, stop your opponent from retreating, getting out of the active. Just stop your opponent from doing everything. You want them to stop completely so that they are just draw passing. That's when you can completely start controlling the game. And then you could play towards their win conditions. So how do you get there? And that's really where a lot of these cards start to make the answer. You could see cards like Yellhorn, which are historically underused. Both active Pokemon are confused. That could stop your opponent for a turn while you get a boss orders to bring up their 3 prize card Pokemon with 2 retreat or 3 retreats. It could also just, your opponent can get Tails. This is cards kind of like a snack in terms of the result. So going over one by one, there's a copy of Aipom in here. There's always the debate when you're playing a control deck, do you play Aipom or do you play Persian? Personally, I like Aipom because they can target down the Meowths. It also gives us more space to play more like toxic, busted cards. So discarding random cards is fine. It's awesome to discard direct cards with something like Persian, but I don't necessarily know if you need to discard direct cards. Aipom can somehow get to a win condition quicker. So let's say if your opponent's trying to, they know they're going to lose the game at some points, but time is a factor of Pokemon. We do got to take that into account. They're like, you want to know what? Maybe I'll play Marnie's. I have 4 copies of Marnie, 4 copies of Cynthia Caitlyn, and I can keep on drawing my deck out and then Marning it all back. Just playing actions quickly, all that stuff. So legally trying to tie a game, right? And in a lot of ways, Aipom can stop your opponent when their hand gets super large. You could be like, you want to know what? I'm going to rip your hand down so you have 5. Good luck trying to play those Marnies. Thanks for the win. Appreciate it. So Aipom can really stop strategies like that. It could also stop your opponent, like if they have a large hand, they might be holding on to win conditions. Maybe your opponent has ways to win the game and they're just not playing them because they're still trying to formulate a game plan. You could yank out of nowhere when your opponent's hand gets super large. So Aipom, use when your opponent's hand gets really large. This is what keeps our deck going for an infinite loop. We got the snack search, so once during your turn you may flip a coin. If heads, put a card from your discard pile on top of your deck. If you use this ability, your turn ends. This can get back some of those things, so you could send up something like Lily's Pokédoll, for example. Not worth a prize card. Another thing that you could send up is Altaria, so your opponent, they might not be able to attack your Miraculous Charm. That's another way for you to win this game. So if we go through here and we look at other ways, like we could bring things up, cards that we want to get back, there's a lot of really cool cards. Play towards the win con that you're aiming towards. So if that includes removing all of your opponent's energies, if that includes shutting off your opponent's Pokemon tool card, if that includes getting a bunch of crushing hit, like there's so many win cons that you could potentially have with this deck. And there's no win con, let me change that for a second. There's not necessarily a win con where you remove all your opponent's energies and then you miraculously win the game. You need to have knowledge of what's going on with your opponent's deck, whether it's open deck or closed deck. You need to be like, I know what a Victini deck looks like to 58 cards because I've studied the metagame, and that's why I'm playing Altaria Control. So if you know that your opponent only plays 1 copy of Volcanion or 2 copies of Volcanion, you could quickly choose win cons that would allow you to advance further in the game. So you could be like, you want to know what? I know my opponent is playing Pika-Rom. I can Mawile, bring a Pika-Rom down from their hands, has 3 retreat cost, and then I can keep that up active for the rest of the game, lock it in play with Absol, increasing the retreat cost, lock it in play with Galar Mine. Even if they play Air Balloon, I could Tool Jammer them off. These are the cards that you're going to be focusing on with Munchlax. Other games, you're going to be like, you want to know what? I'm playing against a Pika-Rom. They're not benching Pika-Rom. They discarded their Pika-Roms. So they're playing around the Mawile in my list. But my opponent used Dance of the Ancients, or I was able to knock out their Tapu Koko Prism Star. That's when you could go with Altaria and then scoop up net all your Pokemon in play, or as many as humanly possible. And those would be cards that you'd be looking at because you could just go, I have Altaria, I can basically do whatever I want for the rest of the game. Snorlax is a single prize card Pokemon that you could search out. It's scoop up nettable. So a lot of people I see playing double Zacian V. I like the split between Altaria and Zacian V because you could play your hand down with Snorlax and Zacian V. Because you could play your hand down, draw to 7 cards, you could scoop up net this card back, it's worth 1 prize card. So between the difference of these, of course, Zacian V is usually going to be a better card. But you can draw more cards with Snorlax, and you can scoop up net it. That's why I like the splits. Only this thing has to evolve into Altaria, so Swablu, sorry, it's just you're less relevant than Altaria. Altaria is really just to block VV Max GX cards. Basically, most of the metagame, if you play against a deck like Luke Metal, if they don't play Aegislash or Galarian Stunfisk, you could just basically declare yourself a winner. They're going to go to a strategy where they can't attack anything, period. Then you play cards like Aipom. Once their hand is super big, they'll probably just concede the game. A lot of peeps nowadays, when they see the Altaria, they're going to hit that concede button. Not that we want to force our opponents in there, but a lot of people just realize that they do not have a win con against this deck and they do not want to waste 30 minutes. It's much better to get a snack, take a shower, play some Pokemon Snap, than try to beat the Altaria deck. Going on, we got Absol to increase the retreat cost. If you're trying to just sit something pretty up in the active, you got to watch out for their switch count, their scoop up net count, bird keeper count, Malolana count. I'm sure there's got to be a bunch of others, ways that they can knock themselves up, knock themselves out, such as Spiritomb, lots of things like that. So make sure the Pokemon that you're bringing up can't necessarily attack, can't necessarily retreat, something of the other. Absol can definitely punish them there. And another rule of thumb through this deck, realize how many prize cards your opponent can draw in a game. If they can't knock out Altarias, don't feed them prize cards like Absols unless you absolutely need to. No pun intended. But it's one of those things where I've watched too many players play a deck like this, and then they just bench, and then they lose the game because they do not understand the core fundamentals. You are limiting your opponent's options. Do not give your opponent options. Do not feed them a 2 prize or if you do not need to. Mawile is a card that you might only play 1 in every 10 games, but this gives you the opportunities to do so. Couple of Grimers, this one's the better one. You got access to collect. This card you could keep on cycling with scoop up nets. You're basically searching for things in your opponent's deck that would stop you. Now this is only grabbing item cards. So you could look at the top 6 cards of your opponent's deck, discard any number of item cards you find there. You want them to be discarding switches, scoop up nets, things like that, so you could lock one of your opponent's Pokemon in play. Maybe they have something like Metal Saucer, for example. That's a way to stop their energies. As long as they're not attacking you, you have infinite time. And if you can get things out of their deck or discard their energies in play, it works. Jirachi's a really good way for you to grab insert card here. So if you're ever like sending up a Pokemon after a knockout, or let's say you could drop the Jirachi, Lily's Pokédoll under the deck, and then send Jirachi up active, you could look at the top 5 cards of your deck, grab something. Maybe you need that Tool Scrapper, or maybe you need a Yellhorn. Jirachi can lead you into the cards that you need. Be sure to do proper sequencing of it. Mawile, sometimes your opponent's going to have a thick hand, and you could bring down, clog up their bench so they don't have access to Dedenne GX, Crobat, Eldegoss, anything like that, Mawile can be a means to an end, and it could lead you to a win condition. I don't see enough decks playing this card, and I really like Captivating Wink. Zacian V is really just for Intrepid Sword. We're just trying to draw cards throughout the game, because a lot of the times you're going to be Lily's Pokédoll or Altaria in the active, draw pass, draw pass, draw pass, draw pass. And it's not really a liability if your opponent really can't knock you out. You got Giratina. Since we are playing Scoop 'em Net, you can go Dimension Breach, rip their energies off, and if you just rip enough energies off of these Pokemon, they can't attack. And Mew, this is really for those Cramorant decks, the Rapid Strike Urshifu decks, the Pikarom decks. I think Mew is very good to just kind of slow games down, make sure that your opponent can't draw extra prize cards. Crushing Hammers to slow them down from attaching energies. Lily's Pokédoll, so they are not necessarily knocking out a Pokemon. This is not worth prize cards. And it could go at the bottom of your deck, which can give you more cards. I like the one copy of Ordinary Rod. It's a card that if you need Altaria, you could always get back with Munchlax, etc., etc. But if you lose any of the Pokemon in the process, I think it's super helpful. Few copies of Pokemon Communication. That's so that you can get out any of the Pokemon in your deck, but mainly because you have Evolution Pokemon in Altaria and Alolan Muk. Got a copy of Reset Stamp. So if their hand gets really large, you could always throw a Reset Stamp at them. You got Scoop 'em Net. Scoop 'em Net is great at getting any of these Pokemon into the active spot, except for Mawile and Zacian. You also have, with Scoop 'em Net, you could just remove the amount of prize cards your opponent draw from game. So keep that in mind. We got Tool Scrapper, so choose 2 Pokemon tools. Maybe they attach their air balloons prematurely. Maybe they have something spooky on one of their Pokemon. Tool Scrapper can be huge. Yell Horns to stop them for a little bit, making them confused. Realize that it makes both active Pokemon confused. We got 2 copies of Galar Mine. The retreat cost of both active Pokemon is double colorless more. That's how you could lock Pokemon and play with Absol and use boss's orders to bring them up over and over again. You have 1 copy of Wondrous Lab. If your opponents played all their stadiums, maybe you make their energies cost a little bit more. That could work with Crushing Hammer, and it could work with Giratina. Remember, you could cycle those cards back with Munchlax. You got 1 copy of Bill's Analysis. That will allow you to rip trainer cards out of your deck. So maybe you can grab Double Crushing Hammer. Maybe you can grab a Galar Mine. Seems really important there. Birdkeeper allows you to get to the active with any of your Pokemon in play. So not just like Scoop 'em Net. This deck does not play the traditional switch. So that's something that you got to deal with. Boss orders, bring up whatever Pokemon you want to try to stall your opponent out, and just like sit there so you can do whatever you want. Bruno works amazingly well if any of your Pokemon get knocked out, which a lot of your Pokemon get knocked out. It gives you a good shuffle draw 7. Cynthia Caitlin, you can get back any of your supporters, resources. I think that's super helpful. And draw cards. You got Lieutenant Surge, which allows you to play all of these cards in multiples. You're usually going to be behind on prize cards. This deck's not very great at drawing prize cards with only 4 energies. I mean, sometimes you could attack with Speed Dive, but it's not always necessarily the case. Will is so that you can guarantee that heads on your whatever you need it to be, whether it's a Crushing Hammer, whether you need it to be a Munchlax. You could choose the results, and that makes Will really spooky. That means that you could also use it really well with Lieutenant Surge. And Tool Jammer, I think, is a great way to just stop your opponent's Pokemon. You could just put Tool Jammer after you use Tool Scrapper, just to lock your opponent out of play. Maybe you don't want their air balloons, and it's just on an Altaria or something. Could work particularly well. Capture Energy allows you to search out pretty much anything, whether you want to be grabbing a Swablu, Snorlax, whatever. These are just cards that you really want to have. So I mean, overall, I think this deck's awesome. Lots of cool things going on with this list. So we'd have to see what's up. I mean, it's just one of those things like where we're just going to see what's up with this list, give it a try, and see what's good. So we won the coin flip. That's absolutely busted. We want to go first because we have evolution Pokemon that we want to evolve into. And it really comes down to like how your opponent reacts to situations. I mean, our start here isn't anything particularly good. It makes me want, we have our choice between starting with Alolan Grimer or the Absol. We also have the Scoop 'em Net. So I mean, I think I'm going to start with the Absol because Alolan Grimer is going to be a little bit better in most matchups. We could also get back the Absol if we need it. So I'm just going to keep it like that. I mean, Collect could be cool. I just don't know what deck my opponent's running. It's different playing this deck on the ladder, where they are playing a fire-based deck, which might be difficult for us to deal with. Because fire-based decks means that they could get Spreading Flames off, or maybe they won't be able to get around Altaria. Of course, we want to draw some extra cards if possible. Don't want to put anything there. And yeah, it looks like our opponent is playing Victini here. So their Galarian Rapidash isn't going to do too much. We just don't have a whole bunch of ways to do anything. The only draw card that we have is Bird Keeper. So we're vibing out for a minute, you hear? I'm going to put the Lily's Pokédoll out now. And since decks like this typically don't play Marnie, I'm going to leave my hand as is. I could put Mawile GX down. I don't want to give them any more prize cards if possible. So I'm just going to vibe out like this. So this is Pokemon is weak to fire. And I know that this game comes down typically if they play Volcanion and if they play Reshizard. Most lists play one copy of Reshizard. Double Blaze GX gets through Altaria's Miraculous Charm. And if they do play Volcanion, they have a much better chance at winning. If they don't, then we could just vibe out with the Altaria and win the game. So we'll have to see if we get to that point. But things like this could just get stuck in the active position. I'm not really worried about them using Librahorn. So if we could trap them with Absol in play for the rest of the game, I'm pretty good with it. And you can see that they're just getting the Reshizard down. We could always remove energies off Reshizard. They only have one Double Blaze GX. It's not like a VMAX attack. Double Blaze GX can only be used once. There's Giant Hearth. And you can see that they're just playing down cards. We could trap a Crobat down. They can't actually even attack with Crobat. They can't really even attack with this. Again, Librahorn, I don't care if they reduce our HP down till we're 100 or anything like that. It's one of those things where Crobat's a really good Pokemon just to bring up with boss's orders. And I think they're just going to learn that the hard way. We're going to run them out of Giant Hearths to use. We're going to run them out of Switch. And you can see there's an Air Balloon. When you attach things like Air Balloon prematurely, you could put yourself in a tough position. Putting fire energies in your discard pile can put you in a tough position. That is, if you aren't able to get back your energies, they might not be playing. I think I did see Victini VMAX, actually. I was going to say this could also be Temposard, but it's something to note. So a lot of it's just like waiting. I know that our turn's going to be involved using Bird Keeper, things like that. If they're going to go Double Blaze automatically, they can't knock out our Altaria. So it is something to note there. And I mean, if they go Double Blaze right away, they're probably going to be in a really tough position. Unless, of course, they play a large amount of Volcanions. And they went for it, so they no longer have access to that attack. And I'm fine losing the Absol for them using their Double Blaze attack. Now, I probably should have sent up something else. I will be quite honest there, because I was planning on using the Bird Keeper. Now, I can use Scoop Up Net anyways. So, I mean, do I want to draw 3 cards with Bird Keeper? I think Bird Keeper is going to give me a much better chance to draw out of this. So, I'm going to go ahead and Bird Keeper over to my Alolan Grimer. We did not get what we wanted. I am going to go Crushing Hammer. Let's take away the energy there. Let's see what we could rip out of their deck. We want Switch there. They had a lot of item cards. I don't know if I care about them having Quick Ball or Reset Stamp. I don't want them to have Reset Stamp. Do I care about Quick Ball in their deck? I don't want to give them any more outs to anything. I could leave dead cards like that in their deck, especially with this deck, but we'll have to see. Let's go Scoop Up Net the Muck. And a deck like this, probably, if they play Jirachi, they probably play Scoop Up Net as well. Let's put down the Munchlax. Let's put down the Alolan Grimer, because again, we're not trying to lose this game here, peeps. We do have access to Lieutenant Surge, though, for next turn. So we are going to try to get a Munchlax off here. If we can Munchlax, we can get the Bird Keeper off. So let's go ahead and Snack Search. Boom. Bird Keeper seems pretty important if you ask me. So they can just go and use Outrage to knock out our Lily's Pokédoll. And that's cool, but they're not drawing prize cards. So It's one of these games where you're in there for the long haul. They have their Heatran GX. They're using their, what is that? Is that their third switch of the game? Now, if our opponent does not play Scoop Up Nets, they're probably in a really tough spot because we could just bring up the Reshizard over and over again. So they're trying to get these Pokemon out of play. I mean, drawing prize cards, of course, is going to be huge for our opponent. But let's vibe out here for a second. I'm going to send up Lily's Pokédoll first because I do want to Lieutenant Surge Bird Keeper into a free retreating Munchlax. Munchlax does have free retreats. Top card is going to be Bird Keeper. So let's go Lieutenant Surge. And I actually want to go Bill's Analysis first before I use Bird Keeper. The reason why I want to do that is because... Actually, you want to know what? I might be able to get Boss's orders off. So I'm actually going to go Bird Keeper goes first. Because I still might want to play Boss's orders. So let's go Bird Keeper. I don't know why I'm selecting because there's literally only one Pokemon. So far, we are not getting anything that we want here. I'd like to use the Boss's orders to stop my opponents. But I'm still not sure how they're going to react to this situation. I really need to draw some cards somehow. And I know that Bill's Analysis is not going to get anything. I was looking for a Capture Energy for like a Swablu or something like that. I'm going to use a Alolan Grimer as a way to set up. When there's a will, there's a way, right? So let's go like this. We're going to go bring this up. This Pokemon has a large amount of retreat cost. So they'd have to basically welder onto it to make it happen. They have 3 energies in play, 7. Like, it seems a little bit difficult if you ask me. And what they'd have to go through to draw prize cards seems rough. I could look in their hand with Mawile, but again, I don't want to really give them the prize cards. I have access to collect to draw 2 cards. I'm really just trying to get Swablu set up at this point. And you can see I'm getting close to it. I'm running out of prize cards though. So that's something that I need to note. If they are able to get out of the active spot, like I need them to pass, I'm looking for a break here. And that's a lot of what you're going to be looking for when it comes to finding a win con with this deck. You're going to be like, can I use Boss's orders to grab a break for a turn? Is my opponent going to find 3 energies that they can Giant Hearth? Does my opponent play Fire Crystal? If you're playing a Play Limitless tournament, odds are you know exactly what's in your deck. If you're playing on the ladder or anything else, there's a very good chance you just don't know what's going on. So there's their Pokegear. Are they going to find a boss? Are they going to find a welder? There is a boss. I mean, I'm not too worried about boss at this point. I just don't want them to knock out my Swablus. Because they are 1 Pokemon away from not being able to win this game. If they bench 1 more Pokemon and can't bench down a Volcanion, they're probably in trouble. And if my opponent goes past here, I'm just trying to find a way exactly. So that's the break that I was looking for. Let's start going for drawing cards and all this good stuff. So let's go Cynthia Caitlin. Step 1. I definitely want to get a supporter card back. So I'm going to draw 3 cards. I don't need the Mawile for the rest of the game. I actually probably need the Giratina less though. They likely don't play special energies at all with this deck. And at least Mawile I could Captivate, Wink, lock them out of the game. So it's sometimes cards are better, sometimes cards are worse. Lieutenant Surge seems like a really good call since I play 3 copies of Boss's orders. There's a Swablu 1. There's Calm for Swablu number 2. I'm just going to put the Mawile away. I feel a little bit safer with that. Let's go Crushing Hammer on... Let's try to hit the active. Removing their energies so that they might not be able to retreat. They have played 3 copies of Switch. Is there a way for me to discard more cards? I don't think I care about using Collect anymore. I think I care about Munchlax a lot more this turn. And I could always go into a Lily's Pokédoll. So let's see what we could rip out of their deck. We also have the Scoop Up Net available. They have Kricketune in their deck, an interesting choice. So far, there's nothing like crazy that we're able to see. Let's go ahead here and scoop up net the Muck. You can see 1 prize card, 2 prize card. These, once they evolve into Altarias, likely are not prize cards. Do I care about collects? You wanna know what? I'm gonna go for the collect again. I think that sounds fine. I haven't retreated for my turn yet. It might actually be better than the Munchlax because I have a 50-50 chance of getting a boss on top of my deck. I also just need to draw more cards. So we'll go collect. Boom, there's an ordinary rod, there's a reset stamp, and you can see how I could reset stamp my opponent, but right now they're not really doing much with their hands. Their Pokegears are gone, so I mean, okay, they have a welder there. Interesting. Are they going to retreat? 3, 4, 5, 10. Most lists play like 11 energies. So with 6 in play and 5 in the discard pile, I think there's a good chance that they just don't have anything at this point. Now, a boss would be huge. So I'm going to start off by going Lieutenant Surge. And then I'm going to go Cynthia Caitlin. We're going to go put a supporter card from your hand into your discard pile. Yeah. So we want to draw 3 cards. I'm going to discard the Snorlax. I don't think Snorlax is going to be very good for us at this point. I want to grab a boss. And if I can get a Galar Mine here at any point, we might just be vibing. Now, they might not have the energies in order to retreat. Let's see what we can get with the Alolan Muk first. We could also peep what's in their deck. So you can see we're not seeing much energies. There's an Altaria. I'm gonna go scoop up net onto the Muck. At this point, I no longer care about Muck. And I'm gonna send up Altaria. I'm gonna go Pokemon Communication away the Alolan Muk because Grimer is more useful for us at this point. I think we're not going to be using it anymore. We're going to grab the other Altaria. And I'm going to be setting myself up to try to win this game very soon. I want to draw cards. Drawing cards seems huge. Finding things like Galar Mine. So drawing cards doesn't necessarily mean drawing 3 cards. They're going to concede because I have them in a full lock. And that's how it's going to go. I know we only got to 1 game here, peeps, but I think this deck fully showed what it could do. That game really was like, you want to know what? You can remove your opponent's switch with Alolan Muk. You can block your opponent with Altaria. You can use boss's orders and grab a turn. And there's a lot of other win cons available in this deck. And when I say win cons, it's more just like taking away what your opponent can do. The win con is either decking your opponent out, or you can maybe draw prize cards with Altaria, or your opponent could concede the game. And again, we don't want to force our opponent to concede the game or anything like that. A lot of peeps just realize that they don't have a potential way to win against that, and that's when they're going to concede on their own. So, I mean, I think it's a pretty cool deck. One thing that I do want to note about this deck, if you are thinking about playing it for the Players' Cup 4, they just announced for the Players' Cup 4 only, right now, that ties are going to count basically as double game losses. So there's no match points at all for ties. They might change that, and this is how I understood it. So tying is bad. A deck like this takes a while to play. As you can see, I think that game was like 15 minutes or so. If you're tying the game, it's bad. You want to be winning games, which means that a lot of control decks probably just aren't as viable in this format. So keep that in mind if you are playing. Although if you are able to play control fast enough, I think it's a great choice right now in our current metagame. And this deck seems pretty cool. So I enjoy playing it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Any changes that you have in your list or anything else. Beyond that, I do know that Chilling Reign is coming up, so stay tuned for all that great content coming out. I'm excited to crack open my codes. All right, everyone, I'm going to catch up with you later. Remember to like, subscribe, and peace out. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who's become a channel member. It's one of those things where I appreciate every single person who watches my videos, and I mean, that's really where it counts, but for the channel members, they've gone out of their way to financially support me, and I truly appreciate that gesture. It's one of those things when I started channel memberships up on my channel, and I just didn't know if anyone was ever going to do it, so I truly appreciate everyone taking the plunge, taking a leap of trust, and investing in me as a content creator. truly makes a difference for me each and every month. If you haven't already thought about becoming a channel member, you might want to contribute to the channel, and I do put everything back into the channel to make it the best possible place to watch for Pokemon TCG content. Again, I truly appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. Cheers. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.